All right, so testing. All right, we're going to be doing a stream here. It's going to be relatively short, but we're definitely going to be doing it. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and begin. Hello, everyone. It's me, Tari HB. Today is a live stream. Primarily a small, brief live stream just to do a little bit of commentary on the current phenomena known as dimensional tearing. So the reason I'm doing this is because we've gotten a little bit more time to do it. Decided to do it live. So any questions regarding it can be answered live. So we're mainly going to be focusing solely on dimensional tearing. So as far as Q&A goes, it should be refocused on dimensional tearing and this particular video. Now with that said, we're going to go ahead and begin starting off with the basic premise of why I'm starting this. So I am going to be honest, I am a little frustrated, but I'm calming down on that. The frustration mainly comes from around being misunderstood in a variety of ways and upon the purpose of dimensional tearing. So let's see here. Let me change the title and just say, yep. Yeah, there we go. I think. There we go. So, welcome, Jaganke. Thank you so much for showing up to the stream. And I can't give my thoughts yet. I haven't seen anything on it, so I apologize about that. But let's go ahead and move forward here. So, when it comes to this whole dimensional tearing threshold, you gotta really know what you're going up against. So I'm gonna be dealing with a comment. Let's see here. So I got to deal with a couple comments actually. I'm gonna be addressing the comment live. So first, let's go ahead and get ourselves something pulled up. So before we even address this, let's go ahead and go into the main meat, which we're going to go right here. As you guys can see here, I'm on Comic Vine. And the reason I'm on Comic Vine is I'm actually was having a little discussion. So somebody was asking the purpose of what dimensional tearing is. And essentially it's the basic explanation I've given has already been expressed. There's just a lot of mess going on here. It's very hard to keep up with when other people enter into a conversation that's disorganized. Now, I was asked to explain how my arbitrarily numbered dimensions are infinitely larger than the previous ones, and what makes you think this is universally acceptable towards all fiction when neither real life nor fiction follows it. Now, here's the problem here. This statement, he asserted that neither fiction follows it. You can't assert the fiction doesn't follow it, because your assertion is based upon a negative. Your assertion is based upon something that hasn't even been proven yet. So you can never sit there and say that, oh, well, this fiction doesn't follow it. It doesn't work like that. Now, moving on, it says, what makes you think this is universally accepted towards all fiction? It's not a matter that I think it's not a matter of that I think all fiction has to follow it, but it's a matter of how is it applicable to all fiction. Then we talk about Quantum Superman. Quantum Superman expresses how a lower dimensional realm appears to him. Now, other fictions may view this differently, but this is an example of someone who views himself in a higher spatial aspect. The whole concept around the dimensional tier is upon the basis of that. Now, the verse is about a wiki. I can't defend them in all cases. Sometimes they make things a little bit more difficult for themselves. But as far as I can answer for myself, and my premise is that the whole aspect of dimensional tiering is a metric utilized to articulate a character's particular power when a limit has been reached or can be surpassed. And I'm sticking with that. And that will be stuck with. And the reason why we stick with that is because we need to understand that very basic fundamental. Now, let's look at what Divine Master said to me. All right, you're utilizing their system, which specifically says they think higher dimensions are, and there are only single definitions of real, and there is only a single definition of real coordinate space. It's literally written in quotes. I already sent real coordinate space and grant higher infinities, but I'll post a screenshot if you don't mean it. It's not that I don't believe you, Divine Master. I never said I never believed you. I'm just saying that their composition upon how they are using the words may not be upon the way you guys are breaking it down ultimately. You're breaking down the real coordinates based upon the cardinal aspect. You're simply asserting the cardinal. So if I was to respond to this comment, here's what I would say. It's not a matter of not believing. The mere definition is likely not based upon the presupposition of the same cardinal. Thus, so right here, as I said here, it's not a matter of not believing. It's the mere definition is likely not based upon the presupposition of the same cardinal. Thus, the next axis, or as I should say, based on what he said, bisection? I think it was, what type of mathematics was he using again? I believe he utilized a math called bijection. So I believe it was bijection he was speaking of. Thus, the next axis offers an infinitely greater range of motion. And the reason I'm saying that, and that's because if you read here, they say characters who can affect and destroy the entirety of spaces whose correspondence is two higher levels of infinity greater. In terms of dimensional scale, this can be equated. Okay? This can be equated to 5 in 6-dimensional real coordinate spaces. So for example, if 2D equals x plus y and 3D equals x plus y plus z, then 4D equals x plus y plus z plus t. Etc. This new range offers a new infinite measurement. And upon the theory utilized, that newer range requires a newer level of infinity, asserting the lower axis doesn't have any significance to the next orthogonal value, a variable, I should say. So for those of you who don't really know what I'm saying, let's see here. How do you feel about Seth called you out on his live stream about the debate or Leverlushane? Hello, Zay. Welcome to the stream. Seth? Let's see here. How do I feel about that? Thank you for showing up to the stream, everyone. I appreciate it. Aiden, to give you my answer. I don't know. I mean, Seth is basing this upon his own experience. So, that's the best I can really say. I can only say Seth is just basing that upon what he remembers. I do have screenshots from an old chat I had with one of his old moderators. But I'd rather keep peace with Seth, as I'm not trying to get involved into a whole dramatic part. But as he said he believes he has it recorded, so I'll let the recording speak for itself. I hope he has it recorded, because upon the recording, it could be shown that I wasn't trying to debate at all. I never agreed to a debate. In fact, Snow Forest, I believe you and I used to be part of a similar debate group. Snow Forest can tell you, Atari's not the type of guy who just jumps into Discord calls and casually debates. In fact, I only usually debate people on Dragon Ball that I see on random forums or threads when I'm trying to debunk an idea. Like when they say Kid Buu isn't universal or something like that. I don't really jump into debates that are arbitrarily not proven yet. Especially things like the World of Void being a fifth-dimensional construct. I was only asking them about their opinion of the idea. And that's when other Discord other Discord people came in. Oh, Snowforest, I think you made it on the great time. Snowforest, I'm glad you made it. So, we're having a discussion, Snowforest, about something interesting. Yeah, Jeremiah, trust me. I know what it feels like. So, Snowforest, basically, this individual, I don't know if you know what this is, Snowforest, but I'm sure you should know now. They're using bijection, which they are asserting, which I'm sure you remember what bijection is. They're asserting that the same energy values can be acquainted to other spatial axes. So basically, infinite energy on a two-dimensional plane makes no difference because infinite energy on a two-dimensional plane can still be applicable on a three-dimensional plane because energy isn't spatial. Now, although I get where they're coming from and I agree with them, I don't think they understand Snow Forest. I don't think they understand that the Versus Battle Wiki, or at least the algorithm the Versus Battle Wiki is going for, is they're talking about an infinitely greater level of energy. So I don't think they understand the whole aspect is this. Let me bring it on screen to make it a little bit more simpler. Here's an example. Let's say we got a one-dimensional line. It's X. This line is able to extend to, let's see here. Let's see here. So this line, let's say here, it extends to infinity. This is an infinite 1D line. Okay? It goes in one direction. Let's go one right angle. Now we're going into a different different spatial aspect. This is Y. In the same matter, it's also infinite. So, in this case, this red is 1D. Okay? Red is a 1D line. Now 2 is the 2D line. But here's the thing. On a two-dimensional plane, the two-dimensional plane in this aspect would consider both of these lines at the same time, thus making a two-dimensional plane. So how do I put it? I'll put this. X equals 1D. X plus Y equals 2D because it's two dimensions. From what I've read about the dimensional tiering, it's less about the energy, but more about the perception. I had a whole debate with Lumi on G. Oh, I remember Lumi. I remember that guy where after he ducked... you were there when Lumi rated the debate because he Discord wouldn't debate me on dimensional tiering. Yeah, there's some people who just don't talk about it. Because I don't know what it is. People love to just, you know... And to give you guys an understanding, let's say if I can just go one more step. So this is like another line that is one right angle to this line, right? So let's just say, boom, it goes this way. Now, it would normally be out of range, but I'm kind of just trying to make it easy to see. So this is just an example. This is a Z-axis. It's also infinite. So I'm going to ask you guys of the stream. So we're going to go like this. If X equals one dimension, which is infinite, an infinite 1D world, a 2D world is X plus Y equals 2D, and X plus Y plus Z equals 3D, what has a higher trans-infinite subset? Now, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. You guys know what trans-infinite means. And Snow Forest, I'm asserting you still remember, you know the term trans-infinite. Like a set. You have sets of infinities. Hence the term trans-infinite. Sorry, there's sirens. Here's a funny thing. They actually tell me I misused the word trans-infinite. It's hilarious. He said you did. You said you did misuse it, and I said you said I misused the term trans-infinite. He said you did misuse it, and no. That's correct, Aiden. Because Aiden, here's how it works. Honestly, scaling characters in Dimension Tiering is very complicated. It's easier to power scale characters that are like planet, solar system. It is. Welcome, Zowski. But like the whole premise I'm going with is a one-dimensional being is like on this x-axis. A two-dimensional being is x and y. So guess what? He has two infinities he has to work with now, and as far as directional inputs go. So as far as range goes, if there was a universe in the one-dimensional world and a two-dimensional world, it would be infinitely higher because it has a new axis and range of motion. That range gives a better increase. As a result, you would need a higher level of infinite energy because you're now dealing with a different axis of range. You can't just assert They're going under the presupposition that infinite energy, regardless, is infinite energy at an absolute level, but they're neglecting the necessity for infinite levels to be expressed when coming to higher levels of multiverse or universes. When it comes to universes, those infinities matter. Now, for this Z dimension, a Z-axis or three-dimensional world is 3 dimensions: X, Y, and Z. Length, width, and depth. That's why, because it has another infinity called the Z-axis, it's able to now have more than just length and width, but a whole nother infinity called depth. So you have something like this, like a cube. You got 2 planes. But those planes are made up of a 2D and 1D line. Now I start crossing these sections off orthogonally in this aspect. And now what do we get? We get a cube. So now we have length, width, and depth. So now we have literally a new infinite range. But no, trust me, they're not even getting that. And Snow Forest, I remember you and I talked about this way back on I think it was back when we had a Google Hangouts a while back. You was talking about how, like, and I don't mean to sound like disrespectful. I don't want to come off as disrespectful. But you remember when we used to say that sometimes it's harder to talk to ignoramuses, people who think they know what they're talking about. It's not even that hard, Aiden, to be honest. When it comes to fiction, it's not that hard. But it becomes difficult when you talk to ignoramuses or people who try to appeal to reality. Because when you start to appeal to reality for fiction, you create limitations that aren't indicative to the narrative. The whole purpose of the versus battle algorithm is to create a metric to scale characters so it doesn't become too arbitrary. Because a fifth dimension in DC isn't a fifth dimension in the aspect of string theory. The DC world uses imagination for their 5D world, Toon Force, and much more. It's a lot more complex, including concepts and everything. Some of them think of, so depending on the fiction itself, there's a lot more going on. So let me see here. This new range covers a new level of affinity upon the measure of theory and a new level of affinity. Asserting the lower axis doesn't have any significant value. Yes, it is. Remember Godzilla. Yeah, I remember Godzilla, who kept claiming he knew about dimensional tearing, but he kept making himself a joke. That's exactly it. Exactly. So let me see here. I had to talk to him for 2 days to get him to accept he doesn't understand dimensional tearing, and it isn't as easy as he claimed it was. No, it's not. And we have to remember that dimensional tearing is different for every series. Now, let's go back here. So I was telling this guy, he said you're utilizing their system, which specifically says they think higher dimensions are what they think higher dimensions are. It's not that they think higher dimensions are that. It's that they're using that as a metric. It's not a matter of believing. The mere definition is likely not based upon the presupposition of the same cardinal or bijection. Thus, the next axis offers a greater infinite range of motion and active transinfinitism, at least upon the assertion when scaling higher universes. Hence the term equated. They're saying it's equated. It could be equated to the definition. If 2D equals x plus y, 3D equals x plus y plus z, then 4D equals x plus y plus z or t, This new range offers a new infinite measurement. And upon the theory utilized, that newer range requires a newer level of infinity, asserting the lower axis doesn't have any significance to the next orthogonal variable. It's the same thing. A Minkowski space timeline is a perfect example of an orthogonal timeline via 3D universe. Okay? Your presupposition asserts that the R3 and R4 have the same relationship, but you're ignoring the term equate and infinities. They're clarifying their context. The whole point of the system is a metric you utilize to give a generic scale to discourage less arbitrary and apply the fiction's case otherwise okay. Had to talk to him for 2 days. So I do understand this stream is not what most people have had in mind. And I do apologize about that. But this was just to give you an example of a live debate when you kind of talk about dimensional tiering. The reason dimensional tiering annoyed me, and Aiden, I'm going to address that other comment you said about the whole Ceph aspect. But I didn't want to address it currently as I have my attention focused on this. To give you my final thought, this individual is very intelligent. But they're pulling more of a red herring. You've already mentioned orthogonal spatial axis multiple times in your post. This is literally the same the Versatile uses. High geometrical dimensions mutually orthogonal to each other, which, as I mentioned multiple times, do not grant higher infinities. It is just transinfinite and not just transinfinite context, but in any context, since it literally is just a multiplication of the same infinity. Here's a thing that he's not realizing. When you multiply, that's okay, Aiden. Thank you. At least thank you guys for showing up. For everyone else who did show up, I appreciate it. I'm really glad as well that I can express this. It was a little bit frustrating, but we're getting through. Let's see here. So, Snowforest, I have a question to ask you, if you are still in the stream, that is. Do you remember Kado, the right answer, where Zoshinina is literally creating a 38th dimensional aspect, but he's doing it in a different spatial orthogonal direction? Like, he's literally creating, like, I don't know, like a X, Y, Z, T, P, all types of different directions. He creates like 38 of these, right? He does like a Trinducta Octo rack or something like that, something crazy. And because he does that, Zalski, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You will be. You are smart already. You just have to, it's just a different subject. That's all. That's all it is. It's a different subject. But all I'm saying is this. Divine Master isn't wrong. And I want you guys to know that every response I had to do to him was like while I was actually working or on my like small little breaks. So I didn't really get time to address everything. But that's no excuse. You have to take responsibility for what you say. And that was part of my own fault. That's why I'm saying you don't really get into these debates or any of these type of discussions if you're not. But he's just saying that infinite and properties don't apply. But the thing is, they do apply. It just depends on the definition. That's why the Versus Battle Wiki, though they suck, sometimes what they've introduced as an argument is still applicable. So again, they're just, I think it just comes down to a misunderstanding, because the real coordinate space the Versus Battle is using, they're talking about higher infinities in relation to it. Welcome, Beyonder is OP. Speaking of Beyonder is OP, did you know these guys tried to sit there and ignore Beyonder being higher dimensional? I don't think people realize that. And the aspect of dimensional tiering, I was just reading this. It's time to make a commitment to human form. No more brief forays into physical existence, followed by quick retreats. His energy self. It is time to get physical and stay that way. Time. Once in the recent past, he knew not of time. For in his own realm, he was all things, and all things were all him at once, ever. Physical, but 3 dimensions? Instead of having infinite number, such a thing was unknown to him. So he was always used to being infinite dimensional. And we're talking spatially. So in this aspect, DC is utilizing the infrastructure of infinities being greater. Because if you have a universe with 3-dimensional objects on an infinite scale, and then you get one more access to it, you just multiply it. And I don't think he actually realizes he kind of debunked himself. You've already mentioned the thing multiple times. It's just multiplication of the same infinity. No, it's not. It's a different subset. Because the previous infinity doesn't extend its scale. Is this Beyonder from Marvel DC? Yep. I just recently found out about you from your Dimensional Tiering video. Well, thank you. Those people who said Beyonder aren't higher dimensional must be DC fanboys. To be honest, with people who really hate Marvel. Well, to be honest with you, I don't know what they are. The way Marvel views different directions as different infinities. The axiom of itself already believes that. I've showed you an example right here. A new range of motion equals a new expression. But to give you what they're trying to say this. Imagine if I had a 3D object, right? The 3D object is infinite. But you're only able to see at least... I erase all this, right? You're only able to see at least one dimension, right? So in this case, look at here. We have the 3D object. Now, imagine that 3D cube. You can only see one dimension out of it. The cube is still 3D, but you can only see 1D of it. That whole aspect is upon the premise that the object is already foretold or is already made and structured upon an ensemble universe. But yeah. I don't know how to put it. I just know how to say this. The dimensional tiering aspect that we have a lot of the time, the reason we use dimensional tiering is because we're trying to express greater levels of infinities. Kirby's level of infinite energy doesn't mean anything. If a guy said, I'm fourth dimensional and infinite, is he greater than Kirby? Well, let's ask us this. If Kirby said he's infinite, but we only know he's limited to the three-dimensional reality he's tied to, if Kirby fought an infinite fourth dimensional being, could we assert that if Kirby was 4D, he'd also be just as infinite? No, we can't. Because then that has to take an assertion now. So yeah. So, yeah, I think that's going to be about it. This is a short stream. But it's not much going on besides that. I think the last explanation I can give is Dragon Ball. And I'll explain it in a bit. But the last point I'm trying to tell the guy is this. Here we go. You can't assert a being whose infinitely 5D structure and can destroy his 5D realm, including all lower orthogonals, which is 4D, 3D, etc. So it would be to be equal to an infinitely 3D structure who can destroy his 3D realm all the same, at least when it comes to spatial dimensions on a cosmological association, which is likely what the first battle wiki is speaking of. If the being's power is absolute infinity, then regardless of spatial expression, then that being only needs to orthogonally transcend into that range of motion. But again, this depends upon the context of the series. Your main question is about Dragon Ball Heroes. I want to know about the author Yoshitaka Nagayama, and if he truly treats Beat's world, the real world, as our world. Because I know Beat as a character is supposed to represent me as a male going into that fiction that sees Dragon Ball like fiction just as you and I do. So to answer your question, the Beyonder is OP. To answer your question is like this. I'm going to scroll up. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. Because I gave an example here. And this individual clearly doesn't know what I'm talking about. Something that's endless in one dimension can be in fact endless in a higher one. This is Yumi Neko. The Manger sponge has infinite surface area. But that only matters in a world less than 3 dimensions, so a 2D world. In the 3-dimensional world of realities, it has 0 mass. Not only is it not endless, it doesn't even exist. And what Beatrice is, basically Beatrice is like saying, it's not. I don't think it's Beatrice talking. I think Beatrice and I forgot her name. They're both talking in this regard. And what's saying is, it has 0 mass. So, in other words, a 2-dimensional object is irrelevant to a 3-dimensional world. The 3-dimensional world is made up of 2D, 1D, and 3D, but objects that are only indicative to 1D, 2D are still separate on their own plane. This is when it comes into 3-dimensional planes versus geometrical coordinates. And it can be confusing. But overall, this is telling me this. You can have, what's going on right here is like, you see how they just think it's less? It doesn't even exist to them? 0 mass? In Yumi Neko, if you're in a higher dimension, you treat the lower dimension as nothing. You see Quantum Superman here? Or Alan Adam? He says the story is linear, but I can flip through the pages in any order and direction, forward in time to the conclusion. The main character, unaware of my scrutiny, but their thoughts are transparent, weightless, in little clouds. This is how a 2-dimensional continuum looks to you. Imagine how your 3D world appears to me. And this is the aspect. Quantum Superman here is expressing that your 3-dimensional world, I'm in the 8th dimension. It says, on pages 12 and 13, I caught sight of a massless time symmetrical boson. Okay? A Mobius loop curving through 8 dimensions. I heard something knocking on the door to get in. So, obviously, in this context, Captain, this Dr. McDonald in the control room, can we put away the comic book, please? I'm thinking how our universe appears from a higher dimensional perspective. Captain, please concentrate. This Professor Leon. Commencing particle acceleration. Are you ready? Complete, yet always beginning and ending, always different. The story is linear, but I can flip through the pages in any order, in any direction. Forward in time to the conclusion. Back to the opening scene. The characters remain unaware of my scrutiny, but their thoughts are transparent. Little clouds. This is how a 2-dimensional continuum looks to you. Imagine how your 3D world looks to me. So basically, imagine how fictional your 3D world looks to him. And that's pretty much it. Welcome, Mr. Hazama. I'm glad you can make it. But overall, I hope that answers your question, Beyonder. Because that's pretty much how Yoshitaka Nagayama sees Dragon Ball Heroes. So the cosmology that makes up Dragon Ball Heroes, he would be sitting in a way where similar to Quantum Superman will look at it. So, depending, do you want to say he's just a dimension higher? Or do you want to say he's out of Versal? Because he just considers it, he's the author. Because at that perspective, it's kind of like Featherin. Featherin reached the realm of, quote unquote, the creator. The author. Featherin can add spatial dimensions if she wanted to the story. She sees it as just the fiction. Literally. It's nothing to her. I didn't want to say this, but yeah, even I admit, Featherin is a lot stronger than I thought she was originally. I used to say that she was only a certain level of power upon the idea that it would only be one dimension orthogonal. But again, that depends on the fiction. Some fictions believe that a next dimension is higher. But this guy talks a lot. Defying physics is nowhere close to defying logic, which kind of necessary to even have a debate in the first place. You see, also, when I say fake physics in my previous post, I wasn't referring to that, but more so how they calculate reaction speed and some other things. Well, calculating reaction speed has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Welcome, Maurice. So we're essentially talking about a guy who is talking about dimensional tiering and how it's not necessarily infinite, or how 3D, he's basically saying a 4D object isn't infinitely larger than a 3D one, or at least it doesn't equivalate to infinitely stronger power. But again, I said that depends upon the interpretation of the precept. That depends upon the interpretation of what is being scaled. The verse about a wiki, based on the same posts he's putting, they say here, characters who can universally affect, create, or destroy spaces whose sizes correspond to 3 to 5 levels higher of 5 levels of infinity greater than the standard universe model in terms of dimensional scale. This could be equated to 7 and 9 dimensional real coordinate spaces. He's basically saying, he said equated. Welcome, Isaac. Welcome. We'll get a plague feet. Yo, we're going to get a real life Senswish. I forgot where that quote came from, too. They're basically infinitely transcendent bubble universe theory. So this is where I'm just kind of going, bro. Dragon Ball Super be making everyone rock level lately. I mean, Vegeta tries so hard to the Hakai rock at the end. Like is, yeah, that's true. Hey man, this is short, bro. A long stream will be 12 hours. Oh man. But oh boy. It did. Dragon Ball Z did give us better feats. I definitely want to do another stream about Dragon Ball specifically and only focus on Dragon Ball. So what happened? Exactly, Snow Forest. Exactly. So what happens when you transcend space or time? Or what if you just transcend space-time itself? That depends upon what space-time is defined as. Because if they say time is temporal upon the presupposition of normal M theory, which most series follow. Whenever a series talks about higher dimensions and planes, they're usually referring to spatial dimensions or higher infinities. Usually places you can't interact with. Because those planes exist higher. It's called the higher plane of existence. Which means it basically has a different range. It's a higher plane. I'm not going to go too deep into the comment, and it's not because I don't feel like I can't. But Krillin getting shot by police. Yeah, I know, that was stupid, man. We should talk about that. We should talk about the stupidity of Dragon Ball. That needs to be on the next stream. But yeah, Snow Force, you remember when we talked about this before? You said you can't. I'm not going to call this individual. This guy's very smart. Let's see here. Unless you're going to clarify what you mean by expression, I don't think we all talking about the same definition of energy, which is the scalar value, meaning it works in all dimensions equally. Okay. Oh yeah, volume, speed, density, energy, mass, time, other quantities such as force, well, have magnitude and direction, all are called vectors. Yeah, but that doesn't really say much, because depending on how the dimension is expressed in the fiction, that's not what they're talking about. And it's very clear, unless the Versus Battle Wiki is following that expression, then you literally kind of shot yourself in the foot. BS. Well, that's why it's called DBS. The bullshit. No, I'm playing. Stuff going on nowadays. So, Zowski, 6th dimension works like this. I'll show you. Here's how 6th dimension looks in the Versus Battle. Alright. So, let's talk about the 6th dimension. Imagine if this is a universe. And just remember, Just remember, the Versus Battle Wiki says on a universal level. I mean, it's already, yeah, that much is expressed. All right. Yeah, that's funny. So before I get into this, let me just take a quick screenshot. Before we get into this, let me read this to you. I'm going to read this. It's about time people start recognizing. So here's the case. The following is a comprehensive overview of the hierarchical system which the wiki utilizes in order to properly categorize index fictional characters, entities based on scales of their feats and varying scopes which they can affect, create, or destroy. However, it should always be kept in mind that while destructive capacity and area effect are some of the most primary ways to qualify a particular tier, they are not the only ones. For instance, harming a character with a certain level of durability also allows another character to qualify for the same corresponding tier. Furthermore, it should be noted that characters from higher tier are not necessarily invincible than to entities of lower tiers, as certain powers and abilities can potentially bypass different strains. So this guy literally ignored this part that they stated. They literally are making it clear. It is also important to note that the difference between the lowest and highest bounds of given tiers is extremely variable and can absolutely massive in scale. Hence, being far stronger than a character that belongs to a certain tier does not necessarily qualify one for a higher rating. Now, this is what they're talking about. High dimensionality is indeed a valid way to jump into high tiers. If a high tier object, and now they do use the term real coordinate space in which it resides. Now look at here. Let's read this carefully. Higher dimensional being or object in question is either treated as having infinitely more power than a lower dimensional one, specifically because their dimensionality or is provably infinite, in which case it is equated to the size of the entire n-dimensional real coordinate space which it resides in. And they have this page for information and this page for information. So you see here, this is the real coordinate space. This is just referring to different spatial coordinates. R2 is a plane, okay? R2 is a plane which has a y-axis and an x-axis, okay? Now imagine if one can go into the z-axis, okay? This is just in reference to geometrical shapes. The idea is that because a z-axis can go into a different direction, it's because the z-axis can go into a different direction, it's infinitely higher. Okay? So Zowski, I hope you're following along, Zowski. So overall, if the x-axis is infinitely... So let me just show you again on Paint. I think it's easier that way. So before we can get into that explanation, imagine if I can go this way. That's a 1D line, but it's infinite, right? It's the x-axis. It's the x-axis, right? And it's infinite. Now imagine if you copied this, but you went this way. Okay, now we're talking about a y-axis. Or let's just go this way, a y-axis, because it's a right angle, right? Cool. So this one is a y-axis. And guess what? This one is also infinite. It's infinite and it's a y-axis. Alright, so in this case, just as you can see here, the point is this. Now, let me give you an example. if I'm talking about a one-dimensional world, it's going to be X. Okay? A one-dimensional world only goes X because it only is one dimension. This is one dimension in this context. Right here. Follow me, Zowski. Right there. All right? Two-dimension uses two dimensions. How many dimensions we have? We have two on screen. So that's Y and we have X for coordinates. Okay? So this allows us to create a plane. Because now that we can work with two different type of lines, we can start making planes, which are squares, in this context of a three-dimensional box I'm utilizing. Now you can get a little bit more complex when we get into 3 dimensions and 4 dimensions, but that's the very basic gist of it. So that's when it comes, that's the shapes, okay? That's what they're talking about. Now I'm going to go back. World of Void is at best is like, yeah, it's probably infinite 4D. It could be absurded to be I don't really know if it's even absurd to be a type of 5D. It's hard to really tell because the way it's expressed. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Let me finish this up. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Okay, so here we go. Now that we understand this, high dimensional existence. Now, the whole purpose of a higher dimensional existence is just the aspect of, as you can see here, a high dimension, when they exist, is part of a system of a number of coordinates, acts as greater than our own. In layman terms, if they possess more than 3 dimensions, speaking in terms, a dimension can be considered an axis of movement or measurement. So I'm going to just jump to the basics because I feel like if I get into the whole R3 applications, it could create some confusion. But this is literally them giving the basic breakdown of it. Now, anyway, let's go ahead and break down. Let me see here. So let's go here. It's not that hard. Let's go here. So Zowski and everyone else, if you're watching, here's the basics. I'm going to keep it simple. Universe level. A character who can affect one, okay? Create, destroy a universe at least the size of our own, but not indefinitely bigger. So all this means is it's universal. The observable universe. Now let's talk about high universal. Characters who could demonstrate an infinite amount of energy on a 3D scale. Okay? Keyword, 3D scale. Infinite amount of energy on a 3D scale. This means it does not affect, or those who can affect an infinite 3D area or an infinite number of finite or infinite universes when not accounting for any higher dimensions or time. Which basically means as long as they're within a 3D aspect, it still counts. Or more generally, any realm comparable in size. Large numbers of infinite universes. So, in other words, if you have an infinite 3D world, that's high universal. If you have an infinite number of finite universes, but they're not separated by any time continuum, and they're just all laying in one giant bubble, it's still high universal. 2C. This tier is broken into following terms of subcategories. Characters who are capable of significantly affecting or destroying any area of space that is qualitatively larger than an infinite-sized 3D dimensional space. Okay? So you have to be infinite size for Universe Plus. So you have to destroy an infinite 3D dimensional structure, but it has to be common fictional examples of space represented, such as space-time continuums. Now we figure out what a space-time continuum is. a space-time continuum in this aspect, which encompasses the movement of space and time folded within itself. This includes history or moving forward and back. All right. So keeping it shorter, it could be more generally fulfilled by any four-dimensional space as well. Part A, any large or extra-dimensional space. This is the higher dimensional bulk space. That can be complicated, but I can give a series example later. B, portrayed as completely transcending a lower dimensional object in spaces in settings that given the work of fiction, which means depending on what the fiction says. And characters who can significantly affect or create or destroy small multiverses within a comprised of several separate space-time continuum ranging anywhere between 2 to 1,000 or equivalents. Then we go into multiverse, and it just keeps going. So to answer your question, it works like this. Now here comes the easy part, where Atari just simplifies everything. The only reason I'm reading that is because I'm just trying to pretty much clarify what the Versus Battle Wiki means, just in case any goons try to watch this video and take it out of context. If I had a three-dimensional world and it's infinite 3D, right? Yeah, it's infinite 3D. Let's just say this 3D world is infinite 3D, or whatever, I guess, in this context. So you got this infinite three-dimensional world. This is an infinite 3D world. It's 3D. All right. Let's say this universe exists on a timeline, right? So how do we create the timeline? I'll go like this. So I'll go 1, boom. This is the timeline. But in order for you guys to understand the timeline, let me go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me do this. 1, 2, 3. So now we understand the shape of a timeline. Now this is a very simple term. This is the future. This is the past. This is the past. This is the future. The present is based on where you are experiencing. Let's say this. So let's say right here in this example, this is the past at 0.000001 seconds ago. And this is the past 0.0003 seconds in. I mean, this is the future. Okay? The same thing could be here for here. That's how a timeline works. It's like imagine if I had a phone and I screenshot all the frames of the universe. Imagine if it was like on a big film strip, frames per second. But instead of running at 10 frames per second, imagine if we're running at infinite frames per second until we break down all the way to the Planck length. The Planck length is nothing more but just a term that when I say Planck length, all I'm saying is the smallest unit in measurement of time. So imagine if you can copy the universe infinite times over. Imagine if I copied these little 3D worlds infinite times over and I had coordinates of each and every individual event recorded here. That's a timeline. And that's why a timeline is infinitely greater as a space-time continuum. That's why it's infinitely greater than the 3D world, because it captures the 3D world infinitely times over and bundles it in the shape of a line known as time and anti-time or duration. Simple. Now, of course, this depends, because this is only one aspect of the Minkowski space. It's just one example. So it's not the end-all be-all. Trust me, it is not. But that's an example. So don't come at me mysterious. Snow Forest. I know you're going to be like, well, technically. I know, bro. I know. I'm just giving a basic example. Just a very basic layman's example. So that's a 3D world. We know what a 4D world looks like, right? Now imagine a 4D world is this infinite times over, right? So if this is infinite times over, 4D or 3D, blah, 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 this line is, then imagine if I had this, let me do this here. Imagine if I had something like this, a 4D, 3D line. I think I've done this on many other streams. Now imagine I have this 4D world, right? You got this little 4D world. And imagine if it exists. Just imagine this 4D world. Boom, 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 boom. These are separate space-time continuums or separate universes. All these are separate 4D worlds or timelines or parallel worlds. They're parallel because they all have similarities, but they're all separate. Now you might be saying, wow, so where do we go from there? Now you see all these, now you see the white space? The white space in the background, it's occupying. Imagine if I said that was the fifth dimension. Now, not all fictions follow the fifth dimension in this aspect, but this is just me giving an example of what the versus battle was talking about as far as geometrical shapes. Because now we gotta bend one orthogonal angle to get out here into this 5D construct. See, the fifth dimension, we're now no longer on the t-axis. We're on the, I'm just going to call it the p-axis, for example, for parallels. Now we're on the p-axis. And now the p-axis has an infinite higher range of motion than the t-axis. So because of that, I can fit infinite t-axes in this 5D axis, or this PD axis. I know I sound like I'm getting confusing, but please, just understand. Oh, boy. It's interesting you mentioned timelines of space-time continuums because BlazBlue is all about that. Absolutely, man. Yeah, definitely. The Beyonder is OP. It should be out of Versal level. Well, I agree. He should be. You wanted to ask about Broly and Gogeta feat in the movie. Their power is stated to be so tense that too much for the universe to handle, and that's why they shatter reality. Would you classify Super Saiyan 1 Broly and Mastered Super Saiyan Gogeta's feat, since they not only are suppressed, they surpass the boundaries of the universe, but shatter reality and destroyed the walls of space and then the whole dimension? The visual novel says that it was, or the novel says that it was about two dimensions clashing. So that's it. If you had two dimensions that clashed into each other, that would pretty much be it. So there. So depending on that context, that's it. It's two dimensions clashing. And depending on how high you say Gogeta's dimensionality is, and you have it with Broly, you're just taking two coordinates and kind of just clashing them together. And then you get like this higher realm. We can't really say how high that realm is because we don't really know. We don't know if they just hit each other so hard they went into like a spatially fifth dimensional area, because they probably went beyond space-time since they're no longer in the room of spirit and time or in the living world. But then again, the regular afterlife already transcends that in every spatial dimension and temporal dimension below. So depends on how you look at it. So basically this. A 3D world is an infinite set of 3D matter. Galaxies, infinite stars. A 4D world is a bunch of infinite 3D worlds. It's a bunch of 3D worlds put on a giant timeline, right? And let's say it exists like a parallel world like I drew here. A 5D world contains infinite 4D parallels. Now, how do we get 5D? Now, how do we get 6D? Well, I'll show you. Here's 6D. So now, we're going to go to 6 dimensions. So first, I'm going to do this. Then, I'm going to do this. Hold on. get this crayon here. Yeah, I like this color. All right, so let's pretend now this is a 5D world. This 5D world is orthogonally lower than the 6D world. In this aspect, this 5D world infinitely contains 4D world. It contains infinite 4D worlds in it because it's its range in motion. Now again, why does it contain infinite 4D worlds? I'll explain why using the versus battle. So again, using the versus battle once more. I'll use the versus battle once more in this context. It's because, as we say here, extra dimension, characters who significantly affect space of greater sizes than ordinary universal models in space. So we're talking about different models of universes. So in the context of being spatially higher, we're talking about universal correspondence when it comes to real coordinate spaces. So in other words, it's orthogonally greater. If any of you guys have ever watched Rob Bryanton's video, I'll give you a perfect example of that. All right. So normally, I don't usually watch videos like these on stream. And I don't want to get my stream shut down. And this information is copyrighted. So I'm just going to show a screenshot. The whole point is if you were in one point of a 6D world, he pretty much expresses it. Bro, Atari, not trying to be an a-hole. Yeah, I saw Sunny D. I've addressed that. And I'll address it again. I'll address it, guys. All right, give me a minute. I'll finish this up. But right here, it says here, as you guys can see, affect and destroy. And again, we see universal model. Universal model. The term is universal model. So the whole aspect is we're talking about universal models. So when I say a 5D world, I'm saying a 5D world as in a 5D universe that already is infinitely greater. Okay? I'm not talking about a 5D shaped object, a pentaract. That's completely different. So I have a bunch of 5D worlds. Now each of these 5D worlds hold infinite 4D worlds, right? Crazy. That's a high number. It's crazy, right? Well, now what? Well, all these worlds exist in this black background. But what's this black background? The black background is the 6th dimension. Okay? That's it. That's pretty much dimensional tiering. And it repeats itself. Because if I gather the same things, let's say this is the 4D universe, and let's add the 5D line around it. Or 6D. Yeah, let's add the 6D line around it. Right? Something like that. Let's do something like that. If this ball you see here is 6D, it's going to just repeat itself. That's the whole aspect of the 6th dimension and dimensional tiering by the Versus Battle Wiki. That's what the algorithm is all focused on. That's all it is. So now you have a bunch of 6D worlds. You can have an infinite number of these 6D worlds existing in a 7th dimension. And that's pretty much it. It repeats itself all the way up until infinite dimensions. Each of these 6D worlds have infinite 5D worlds in it. And each infinite 5D worlds hold infinite 4D worlds. And each 4D world holds an infinite set of time. It's such a huge number. That's exactly why the Versus Battle Wiki said it's such a huge number. It makes such a major gap. It's ridiculous. And that's the exact point of what they're going with. So let's see here. All right, guys. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. My wife is here. She knows who Seth is. Today is the day we finally address Seth's little comment. All right. You got to turn up the mic. All right, god dang, that's too loud. All right. Let's see. Penlin. Or Pen. Is it Penlin? No, wait. Pen. Yeah. Pen. Hello, guys. It's me, Revolution here. I'm just joking. I'm not Revolution. And I sound like a very pathetic accent. I sound like a tourist. Anyway, let's see here. All right, guys. So, before we watch this, Atari HMB. Before we watch this, Atari HMB want to keep the peace. I'm not out for a fight. I'm not out to call anyone out and make them look bad. But apparently my name was called out. So we're going to do this. So let's see what point you said, Sunny D. 127.15. 127.15. All right.
Like I have like what? I don't even have a.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this. We're gonna live react. Yeah, let me put my let me put my insignia there, in case somebody tries to come at my neck. Say something like, "Atari, you're copywriting, dude." You know what? I need to put another image. There we go. There we go. So it's not going to be copyrighted. That's kind of how that's my face right now. This is my face. Because that's kind of how I feel about the whole thing. I don't really know what's going on. Peace was never an option. Let me go ahead and address this now. We're going to address Seth the programmer. Let's see what he says. He's looking at my comment. Ooh, he's looking at me. Look at me. I used to have the cat. All right.
A Jiren video, do I? I don't think I even have one Jiren video. Ooh! Ooh! Atari!
Hi.
Atari!
What's up, bro?
Yo, does anyone in my old server remember Atari?
I don't know.
Yo, what's a Atari?
Yo, bro.
I remember this guy.
Nice.
Oh shit. Let's see what Atari says.
I remember you too.
Let's see what Atari says real quick, guys.
What did I say?
Let's see what Atari's saying. I can tell you, I used Revelations videos as a basis for the World of Void 5D argument back in like 2018. And before I could express it, Seth and Webcam Port sort of dismissed what I had to say, claiming I was wrong before elaborating the premise. I remember.
I said you was wrong before elaborating the premise. Okay.
He said, Atari, I'm not trying to come here, bully you or anything, but I need you to admit that you're wrong. Followed by Webcam sort of appealing to ignorance, blah, blah, blah. No, Atari.
Blah, blah,
Okay,
blah. Wait, blah, blah, blah. Hey, there's more to it. Why do you stop reading? Why do you stop reading? You said blah, blah, blah. You stop reading. Hold on. And bro, you said blah, blah, blah. Hold on.
Atari actually had a full debate with us.
Really? I did? I don't remember that. According to what I'm saying here, I was trying to have a discussion for synthesis. In fact, a homeboy of mine known by the name of Sosa literally had even told me, Atari, I recommend you probably get away from the versus battle debating aspect, because you're not really a debater in the sense of you like conflict or like to win. You like to more so debate for synthesis, coming to pretty much a congruent conclusion. So we had a full debate, you said, Seth. A full debate. Now, when you say a full debate, do you mean an inadvertent debate? As in, like, it kind of just turned into a debate because you disagreed? Or are you talking about an official setup debate? Well, that's the question there. But overall, you guys know, like I always say, One truth will prevail. I don't know if you guys know that, but like, you guys might be too young. But I'll put it this way. No matter what, no matter how bad or cringy this seems, one truth will prevail. Okay? One truth will prevail. Now, before I continue to hear the rest, let me dive deep into Revolution's video. Revolution versus Seth. Let's see here. The Revolution make a video about Seth, the programmer Foss. Okay, let's click on Revolution's video. Revolution? Awesome. I don't know why he got so many dislikes, but I'm subscribed to him. He's awesome. I like Revolution's videos. Go subscribe to him, guys. You'll probably like a lot what he talks about. Okay. Metal Gear. All right. Enough trolling. Thanks, Shiro. Let's go ahead and see our comment. Let's find it. Ah, here's my comment. 19 likes. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, Jimmy, we're going to have you here. Kurama-sama. We're going to have to delete you from existence. One truth will prevail right now. So let's see here. Let's get up close and personal. All right. So what did he say? I can tell you use Revolution's video as the basis for the World of War argument back in the day. Okay. And etc. Let's see where he said here. He said, Atari, I'm not trying to come bully you, but I need you to be wrong. Followed by Webcam Para appealing to ignorance, claiming the physicists are wrong in not knowing how to properly dimensionally tier, etc. Ignoring most of my rhetoric. A false dilemma. Ambush was pretty much what occurred. Yeah, because the false dilemma was that Seth and Webcam Parrot were saying things such as, admit you're wrong, but I need you to admit you're wrong. And I say, yeah, I'm talking about the ideas, but I need you to just admit you're wrong. As long as you do that, I'm not trying to bully you, Atari. I'm not. I'm just saying you got to admit you're wrong. I remember that being his exact words. I don't know what it was, but the whole point was wrong about what? I haven't even given my argument. I don't know, Shiro. I don't know. Let's continue on. So, what did Seth say? And this comment was not edited whatsoever. So let's see, what did he say?
Need you to admit that you're wrong. Followed by webcam sort of appealing to ignorance, blah, blah, blah. No, Atari, so Atari actually had a full debate with us. With me, actually. And he tried to say that Fusion Zamasu was 6-dimensional because he went from dimension to dimension.
No, that's not what we discussed. We didn't have that discussion. That discussion was in the chat. Okay? That discussion was completely in the chat. I have a screenshot of Seth the Programmer's moderator, who I'm cool with. I will not display his name for privacy purposes. I have a screenshot of his moderator that I am cool with, that I will be displaying, to showcase that we were talking in the chat, because I tagged him. He was actually in one of the Discords where we disagreed with the whole World of Void aspect. We didn't have a full voice debate. The entire Discord was making troll memes about my character Tazaba and putting her face on Ben 10 and such. Okay? So they pretty much said, oh, look, Tazaba, and they kind of slapped Ben 10 on her face and then just said, oh, Atari saying 70 to Zamasu. So let's see here. What else did I say, Seth, when you said blah, blah, blah? That was probably my last time speaking with him. And when I was not really fond of him, mainly due to his attitude. Nonetheless, he's still a smart guy. Great debater to an extent. But his attitude then, past tense, rubbed me the wrong way. And he's quite merciless on his words, as most Discord plus YouTube and G plus OGs are. Sorry this happened to you, Revolution. So in other words, you read what I said. I complimented Seth. I didn't acknowledge he's just a moron or he's dumb. I just said his attitude was like bad. And it just ambushed me with a couple of fallacies. That doesn't take away from what he is as a debater. I kind of said it before. I said, Seth, out of respect, I said Seth the programmer is like the Gordon Ramsay of debaters. He's just raw. You know, he's just raw. He just tells you how it is. He doesn't care about your feelings. And what he tells you is truth. Most of the time, at least. That's why I said he's a great debater to an extent. Because debating isn't indicative about yelling more and insulting your opponent and making them have the will to lose. So it depends. So that was that. That's what the comment said. And they got a lot of other people commenting to me. Lies. I remember you and his old server. They slapped you with the M theory argument. And he said, I didn't debate anyone in the server. Hold on. Do you still believe in his videos? I'm sorry this happened to you, but it's just a debate. Shane knew it, then accepted it. It's so whack because there's no such thing as a fifth dimensional thing in DBS since every character is bound by time. Okay. Nope, Seth was a coward like always. Seth destroyed too. Dang. Okay, see, I'm not going to condone that type of behavior. I don't want anyone to attack Seth, and I don't want any trouble or problems with Seth. Nobody's scared of Seth either. But it's mainly just a whole, this is just what he thinks. This is how he remembers it. Okay? Now let's see what he says.
How can we ask you to admit that you're wrong if you haven't explained your full argument? We actually had a full debate.
I never actually got to explain my full argument. In fact, there are witnesses in the voice chat that even know I didn't get to explain my full argument. Because every time I tried to go into an example, I used Neil deGrasse Tyson. And you guys laughed at me. I used Rob Bryanton. And you guys laughed at me. They said they didn't hold any credibility. Because at the time, I was trying to apply some form of realistic real-world theory based on, I was trying to provide evidence that Dragon Ball followed string theory to a degree. And that was a whole aspect of it. To which they do, but at the time, you guys didn't want to hear it. Let's see.
You tried to say it was six-dimensional to travel from universe to universe, collapsing it. I even made an analogy. I remember very specifically I made an analogy. What if you were to collapse a house by destroying pillars? Would that...
Yeah, he did make that analogy with Zamasu destroying the parallel worlds. Because I said Zamasu said he's going to destroy the parallel worlds. And I said, given that the parallel worlds were infinite, he can't just do it over time. How do you destroy infinityism over time? So upon my assertion, I asserted, yeah, he's going to destroy the structure of the six-dimensional realm. That, I can concede, was ignorance on my part. I'm not going to act like I know everything. But that example is not what I'm talking about in this comment.
Make you house level because you destroyed the pillars.
Furthermore, I did say traveling to the sixth dimension was at that point. Because characters who can affect, create, or destroy the entirety of spaces. Let's go into Atari's Amino app. Let's see what the Versus Battle Wiki put back in the day. They removed this, by the way. They don't have it anymore, but they used to have it. And I'm going to show you what they used to put. Let's go to our old, let's go to our battle arenas. Let's look at our old stuff we got here. Let's go to Super Saiyan God, low multiversal. And I think it's right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where are you? All right, let's see here. Yep, that was just a bunch of evidence. Okay, a bunch of people just going cock-a-doodle-doo in the comment section. Let's see here. Which one was it? Was it Zamasu? Let's see here. I'm sorry, Q Corp. You know we made up our differences. This was just an old battle in the old arc. Daddy G Baby. Daddy G Gabby. Oh my goodness, I can't read. My opinions? Hard to say. I think they did debate. I have to remember. I apologize if I don't remember off the topic. Hold on. Let me see here. All right, let's see. I can't find that. Stupid. Hold on. I think somebody followed my Twitch. Well, whoever did, thank you for the follow. Oh. Wait, I can't see anything. Oh yeah. Well, we're not playing Smash Brothers this stream. I mean, maybe if the chat asks me to play Smash Brothers, I will play Smash Brothers. Just because. I will do it just for the chat. What was that? Goku Dunk? Oh man, I was so stupid back then. All right, let's see here. I gotta find this scan, guys. I do humbly apologize. There we go, Xeno Goku. That's the stupid thing. There we go. Here's the stupid thing here. Yep. All right. Yep, that was the explanation of the macrocosm, and then we have this scan right here. Now, those of you who can't read it, I'll read it to you. This category this is back in the day, before they changed it. Take note that universes are technically lined along a fifth dimensional axis, but their geometrical size still amounts to 0 within the scale. So at the time, during SEFTA program, at the time, when you were talking about Zamasu, I'd already asserted that the fifth dimension was on a fifth dimensional axis. So if Zamasu was going to destroy the parallel worlds, he's going to destroy all of it. So that's where my whole idea came from. Okay, now that we got that, let's continue and finish this up.
About like holding the house up. What if you were to make a chain reaction or go to each of these like sections one by one? If you were to destroy a house over time, does that make you house level?
Yes.
No, that was your argument for sixth dimensional because you were using the M theory. You're using M theory.
I did utilize a form of M theory, yep, indeed, but I was using M theory to see how its applications applied to it, because at the time I was unfortunately a little bit ignorant. Nonetheless, like I said, there ain't nothing to say about that. Yeah, he's kind of right, but we'll view it for ourselves.
And we had to explain to you that M theory is not necessarily what we use for dimensional tiering and power scaling, because in dimensional tiering and power scaling, we're more blatant with levels of infinity.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, they got rid of it. They got rid of it. Quick. Who in the chat remembers that the Versus Battle Wiki used to have M theory on their main page? Who here remembers? Please tell me there's someone here who remembers that they used to have M theory on their main chat. I don't know a way how I can view the site back in its old format, but the Versus Battle Wiki used to have M theory on its main page. I can tell you that for sure. If Snowforce is still here, he could probably confirm. They used to have M theory back in the day. Ho. They definitely used to have M theory. But that's okay. Oh, you do remember. Yep, Andre, you remember. Perfect timing. So I got a couple witnesses. Because M theory was definitely on the Versus Battle Wiki. It was definitely on the page. Oh, that's 4 people. That's 5 people. Yep. Versus Battle Wiki had M theory on the page. On the main tiering page. Yeah, they used to have M theory. All right, that's 6. That's 7. Woo, let's go. They had a lot of people on the page. So guess what? Wayback Machine of the archive. Hey, Zura. Welcome to the stream. And I don't know. I probably can. Let me see if I can. Let's go ahead and try that, guys. Let's do that here today. Ultra Gaming, blah, 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 blah. Nope. They're not letting me pull up anything. If there was a way, I would definitely do it. But they definitely did talk about a level of M theory. It's unfortunate. I was hoping we'd be able to run into it. Ah, here we go. Characters who can destroy creative tool. Yep. Later category breaches the distance between universes along a fifth dimensional axis. Here it says again, take note, universes are technically aligned along fifth dimensional axis. So that's 2 statements. I just don't have the M theory one. Because I was utilizing it here when Bohm was talking about, oh, we can't go to a parallel world. And when they say changing the frequency of the dimensional transport allows us to jump into a parallel world. Keep in mind, at the time this came out, that was under the impression I was getting from them. High multiverse characters who are fifth dimensional or can destroy up and create the 5-dimensional space-time constructs. Yep. As their geometrical 5D size can be higher than 0. Yep. Universes may potentially also assign to this tier. Dang. I still don't have the M theory. Do I have it here? Extra dimensional. 6-dimensional characters can logically destroy more than countable infinity 5D continuums. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Oh, man. You gotta love it, dude. Like, Zoink Scoop. We totally found it, man. People don't think we're crazy. All right, let's see here. There are 6 to 11 dimensional characters. Even 6-dimensional characters can logically easily destroy a more than countable infinity number of 5-dimensional space-time continuums. 7-dimensional characters exceed that scale a more than countable infinite number of times, and so on. However, these characters do not exceed the 11th dimensional scale of the complete totality of a full multiverse, as defined by M theory. There you have it. There you have it. Straight in front of your face. In front of your face. Thank you, sir. I don't know why it was, but right in front of your face. M theory. I'm glad everyone remembered in the chat. It's like those old commercials you remember, and you think it's like a Mandela effect, but no, you know it's not. So yes, Seth.
Power scaling, because in dimensional what we use for that M theory is not necessarily what we use for dimensional tiering and power scaling.
Oh, is it not?
Dimensional tiering and power scaling were more blatant with levels of infinity, right? Like an infinite increase is still not a dimensional tier.
I never said it was.
Whereas in M theory, you're saying.
And back then, Seth, you yourself used to say things. No offense to Seth, and I'm not attacking Seth, I promise. But I'm saying that upon Seth back in the day in 2017, because this took place in 2017, this is right before I went to that tournament in Shine and Smash Brothers, because I definitely remember that year. This took place around 2017, if I recall, and at the time, according to what I know about Seth, he used to say things like infinite 3D is infinite 4D. Andre, Snow Forest is not here, but Andre, you, and I think you and Roswell, Andre and Roswell, my moderators, you guys were there back in the Google Plus days. Do you remember during Google Plus? Google Plus, where I put that Seth the Programmer saying that infinite 3D is 4D is not true. And I literally proved that with one of my videos with the Rob Bryanton. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not attacking him. I'm not attacking him. I'm just saying that at the time, that was the assertion he even gave to some of the fandom. Remember when he said GT Goku was complex multiversal level at the time? Even though GT Goku didn't hit a level of infinityism? We all make mistakes. And I'm not trying to point out his mistakes to hide my ignorance. Not at all. Because I can admit that I was ignorant. That's why I'm making new videos. To correct the ignorance and misinformation I had passed out in the past. And to allow my videos to stand up as a sign of a mistake. Hence why, if we go to my channel. Soga King, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Where are you? Yeah, I know you're here. Let's go here. The hidden video. The hidden video that nobody else could see. We're gonna watch it today. My video. Okay. Man, I made so many troll videos back then, man. I was Oh yeah, this one. Blocked. Alright, give me a moment, guys. Alright, where are you? Come out! Alright. Give me one moment. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. I remember that back in the day. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for everyone being patient. So let's go ahead and approach the last parts of it.
Saying dumb shit like, well, if you travel to other timelines, then you're sixth dimensional, which doesn't inherently have to make you infinitely more superior to something else. It's
Yeah, I didn't say it was infinitely superior.
because you read your stupid M theory book and you thought you were God. Then we shit on you.
Actually, people know I don't have delusions of self-grandeur, so I never think of myself as a god.
And now you're acting like, oh, well, they just dismissed me. No, we
Yeah, you did dismiss me because you didn't let me finish.
debated you on it. We made fun of you. So I'm not surprised.
You just said you made fun of me. So which one is it? You debated me or you made fun of me? Guys, listen to this again. Listen to this again.
see Mr. Atari here at all. We debated you on it. We made fun of you.
You what? Say it again?
So I shit on you, and now you're acting like, oh, well, they just dismissed me. No, we debated you on it. We made fun of you.
Say it again?
So I'm not.
One more time.
Dismissed me. No, we debated you on it. We made fun of you.
So
I'm not surprised.
So what did you do? You debated me and made fun of me. So did you ad hominem? How can it? You didn't debate me.
To see Mr. Atari here at all. I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, ask him. He said that Fusion Zamasu is 6-dimensional. I wonder if I
Actually, I said 7-dimensional threat.
still have that recorded.
And I do have that 6-dimensional, and it still applies to this day. It's just I have more evidence to back it up.
I wonder if I still have that recorded. 6-dimensional. It's like Seth hates you for some reason. Yeah, it's almost like Revolution is talk shit about.
Okay, then it kind of goes off topic. Now again, I'm not going to attack Seth. It's nothing against Seth. It's just bringing out truth. Okay? The whole point of this is to bring out truth. Let's see a couple things. Oh, somebody's getting in trouble. Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa. All right, let me do this. Let me do this. And let me do this. Yes. And we can't see it. Hold on. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Let me get this. Let me get the screenshot up there. I gotta block out this individual's name. Please understand, everyone. I'm blocking out this individual's name for the sake of privacy. All right. Let's make sure. So I'm gonna put it right here. Oh, thanks, Shiro. I appreciate it. And everyone else, thank you guys for the support. It says here 12. All right, let me see here. Let me start when I gave off my listing about Ceph the programmer. And again, this isn't to make Ceph look bad or attack him at all. I was asked by Aiden, can you address the problem? All right, so I'm going to bring the truths to the table, and we're going to go ahead and discuss it. All right. Let's get a couple things here. All right. And yeah. All right. I think that should be it. I just got to go one. This was one of his old moderators, by the way. His moderator was coming to me at the chat during the time. So let's talk about the first event. So, thank you guys. If you could treat it like a serious debate and make fun of it. He said GT 100-year Goku is 16 times universal, making 100. Yeah, yep. Yeah, Andre, you're right. Yep, Dragon Ball everywhere. You remember that too? I'm glad. All right, guys. So I'm just going to move over to the next slide. And like I said, this isn't to make fun of anyone. This is just to kind of address the issue. I hope I don't show his name. But if I show his name, then so be it. It was meant to happen. So here you go. Let's address this chronologically. I think this is it. So I don't like how Ceph called me. So here's what I put. I don't like how Ceph called me all kinds of names after I've supported him for 3 years, donated to him, defended him against everyone else who called him names. Yeah, like the people calling him a-holes and blah, blah, blah. I can say this, at the time, I was a Ceph simp. Video demonetized. No. My friend responded, holy S-H-I-T, dude. Let me read that first. Bro, I'm well aware of all of this, but you should clarify that. You are mixing fiction with in real life physics when clearly Ceph is using strictly fiction while he didn't realize that you were doing both. By the way, why did you left? Or did you get banned? It's because clearly Ceph wasn't using a different method from you. That was the mistake. Okay? He was using a different method. Honestly, you should get along with Ceph again, but it will be hard. I left because I refused to be disrespected from a different view. It's like one party leaves Goku in multiversal and attack potency while the other believes he's high universal or multi-universal. Or how some say Super Saiyan God is 6,000,000,000 times stronger while others say it's 4,000 times bare minimum. But you are correct. So many ways to scale a multiversal string theory, but it's no longer my job to reach out to Ceph. Yup. Yeah. Yup, Sunny D. And that's why I'm telling people I'm not here to make myself look good. I'm just here to cover up my aspect because you guys apparently, according to Aiden and a couple others who have pointed out, Ceph had said something rude about me. And since more than enough people are coming about it, I'm bringing out the truth. Honestly, you should get along with Ceph again. Okay. I said here, it's no longer my job to reach a Ceph. Now, there is another string theory where 4D lines shown as history can be cut into anti-time. Doing this requires just to eliminate the thread of time, which would cause the orthogonal dimension below it to collapse. That's true. Spatial dimensions can collapse upon itself, and that is very true in M theory. This might be what Ceph was thinking when he said destroying this timeline is only 12 universe plus and nothing more. But in the Minkowski theory, you can destroy it over a googolplex times, basically destroying the 4D thread from the base. But it all depends on which string theory you go for. Then it came to, bro, I miss you. Where are you? You're never online. It's been a while. And I said, I'm online, but went back to Zenkai Talk. Andre, do you remember Zenkai Talk back on Google+? A group of more open-minded physicists. I've also reevaluated my approach to power scaling and how there are various high ends and low ends. But thank you for your concern. There's even a point here where I said, I do not know. You can ask Parrot, since Ceph probably is busy. I wasn't in the voice chat to hear the entire thing. I was using Beerus' statement and asking if it's possible. Here's the part. I was asking if it was possible for the world of Void had no time and space, then maybe the Grand Peace implemented those properties to the void. After all, he did manipulate the so-called background or gravity because the void itself had none. I know I was there when it happened. He said, I know, I was there when it happened. They basically said it's not quite literal. It's just empty. And I said, exactly. And I'm asking, see, I'm asking. I'm not debating. I'm asking as if, what if it was literal? I feel as if they kept saying I was wrong when in truth, I'm not. Just looking at a different perspective, just looking at different perspectives or possibilities. I know you told them that directly as well. There you have it. Andre, you remember this happened, but everyone else who's watching the stream, to those who said that Seth said we had a full debate, which I'll play the audio. Yeah, I'll play the audio. He said himself.
Real quick, guys. The video. Atari, I'm not trying to come at you, bully. No, Atari. Okay, so Atari actually had a full debate with us.
No, that's not a debate. I even made it clear. I'm not debating. And this is the screenshot to prove it. I'm going to read it one more time. Exactly. I'm asking, what if it was literal? I feel as if they kept saying I was wrong when the truth is, my spelling is terrible. When the truth is, I'm not. Just looking at a different perspective or possibility. He said, I know. You told them that directly as well, LOL. Because he was in the voice chat. He wasn't in the whole voice chat, but he was still there. So, let me ask you, chat. Are you convinced? Have I proved my case? Have I proved that I wasn't in a necessary full-out debate with Seth? That it was more so me asking questions, and his moderator in the DMs confirms that right here on the screenshot. This isn't edited either. Oh, trust me. Andre won't show. I know Andre's not going to show you guys, neither will Roswell, but they have the full screenshots. They know the user. Well, they don't know him, but they know that these aren't fake. These aren't Photoshop. And I said, because external doesn't always reference time, but can represent forever. Or I said internal doesn't always represent time, but reference forever. I said, and then his mod says, I think they were triggered, but I don't think they were trying to attack you or insult you. I said, Parrot is cool, and so is Seth at times, but they seem to have ignored my entire argument, or made assumptions about me that were untrue. Just so you know, I've been talking with Parrot, and he's a pretty open-minded guy, so don't worry. Oh, you guys are convinced? All right, I think I've read enough then. Did the same thing to Swagage. I remember that time. So then, this isn't an attack. This is not an attack to Seth, but this is to defend myself. I want to keep truth and integrity. I'm not here to say Seth is always wrong and always will be forever and ever, world without end. Amen. No, I'm playing. I'm not saying he's always wrong, but I'm saying his call out here is false. We didn't have a full debate. You did make fun of me, somewhat. And did you crap on me? You kind of more so just didn't let me talk. And I've even said that. And even the moderator was like, yeah, dude, you literally told them that. That's literally what you said. And keep in mind, his moderator's not even biased. He was trying to get us to be friends. He was trying to get us to get along. And you've seen the screenshots. I know this sounds kind of annoying, but I really would like to discuss scaling with you. I feel it would be fun. Well, Sunny D, that would be awesome. I would look forward to the pleasure of doing so. So before we begin and finalize this, this is an old video that's unlisted. Okay? And this is Pride at Waifu. When Pride at Waifu was talking about Toshio 3 years ago when he responded to my comment, he was saying he doesn't have the authorization of power to destroy the universe. And there's a SJ Ryu. Yeah, I remember this video. This is when I first was talking about Wah. All right. So yeah. Let's go ahead and see part of the video so you guys understand. Here's my argument about Zamasu.
What is going on, guys? It is Atari here today, and in this
See, I sound terrible. I sound like trash.
particular video, I'm going to be discussing and proving one of the main possibilities in
Bro, I sound like a squeaky voice Quaman Land or a squeaky voice Detective Q.
feats of Merge Zamasu in the anime and the manga adaptation.
Bro, puberty hit me hard.
So the manga adaptation gives a little bit more clarity, and it kind of provides more evidence towards this suggestion. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to disagree, especially. No, I'm not going to like throw any shade, but like certain communities, I'll just say, tend to disagree with the
Yep, certain communities do disagree.
idea. But that's because a lot of people like to downplay Dragon Ball, and you know, downplaying is probably one of the biggest things that Dragon Ball and misconceptions about string theory. Ego, Rob Bryanton, which is where I'm actually using his string project as the basis for. Many people actually underestimate the idea of these characters being any higher than 4-dimensional. So I'm going to be talking about dimensional tiering, primarily for Merge Zamasu and proving.
Wait, what happened? I mean, no matter what platform we're on, we're still show our true colors in a mile away, and no one will notice or project our own desires. Yeah, question mark.
Why he is actually a 7th-dimensional threat and also has a 5th-dimensional feat in Dragon Ball Super. So
7th dimensional threat. I was going upon the idea that if Zamasu destroys all parallel worlds that congruently hold together the 6th dimension, the 6th dimension would collapse on itself because it wouldn't have the necessary orthogonal angles to exist. That was that was kind of fallacious upon the system of how it works, but you guys get, I was ambitious at the time.
So primarily, let's start with
One, though, moments where you react to your first video. Yeah, it is those moments.
the weaker end. Dragon Ball Super. Merge Zamasu became law in the universe itself. However, he was not just threatening just the quote-unquote universe, but he was leaking his energy, creating a bridge from one timeline to another timeline. Now, as you've seen in my last video, these are actually parallel worlds. And according to Rob Bryanton's theory or an explanation, the actual string for the parallel world is connected by the 6th dimension, which is the fold.
From the 5th dimension,
the 6th dimension is what you jump to instantaneously move to one
position to another, or to move to a completely different 5-dimensional plane.
Yep.
Many probability planes make a phase space representing all possible outcomes for a unique universe such as ours.
Yep.
6th dimension.
You see that? I literally, when you watch the video, you see that? That's literally what Rob Bryanton said, and that's what I'm basing it off of.
The property of being able to fold from one dimension to another on a specific coordinate. So the fact that Merge Zamasu created his own vibrations and his own key energy and mass in order to create such a portal in order to launch himself from one dimension to another, then he's clearly showing that that is a 6th dimensional feat as a 5th dimensional threat.
So he's a 5th dimensional being traveling through the 6th dimension. That's kind of where I was getting at. Because I was saying the Dragon Ball cosmology is a 5D parallel world. Because of how it works. And that applies today. Still applies. It's just a baby YouTube Atari. You remember this video? Oh, wow. You've been around then. You're an OG. This video is unlisted now.
Moving on to the next part.
I think at one point in the comment section, I had told people you should collab with Seth. I remember this. I remember, like, because I responded to people. I said, this is, I remember I told people this is outdated now. You can hear my dog munching. He's going. But yeah. But anyway, this is like back then.
Misconception. Before I go into Merge Zamasu for the manga,
70s
let's
manga.
talk a little bit about the misconception. Most fans, especially Marvel or DC fans, who generally have no understanding of string mechanics or string theory, and that goes for many other anime fans, get the misconceptive idea that a fourth dimension is time.
Here's where we start getting into some possible confusion because
the same
word
words
can
can have
many
very different meanings.
When people say that time
Is the fourth dimension.
what
What does that mean?
The fourth dimension adds a way for the third dimension to change.
Change.
This is
This
obvious
obvious when we say the third dimension is space without time.
But the entropy-driven arrow of time that people associate with this concept is obviously not spatial because it behaves in ways that are different from the first three dimensions.
Yep.
This is why some people prefer to say that the fourth
Dimension
dimension
is
is a temporal
temporal.
dimension, while the first three are spatial.
And they think because Zeno only erased the timeline,
Yep.
they assume, well, he erased the timeline, so that only applies to being.
Yep. So basically, I think that's enough right there because I can't stand hearing my voice anymore. Oh man. Because I was talking about here where
Beyond Planck's of a second,
when Goku went beyond Planck's of a second. Yeah, I remember that.
going to be via future. It's called move through the fourth dimension, or the idea of the fourth dimension of duration for that said string.
Yep. Yeah, that was during the time. That was crazy. I just used a really old profile picked back in the day. Gogeta. Back then, people usually had GT Goku at Multi Galaxy, at least back in Google Plus. Yeah, they did. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. I'm not gonna really get too deep into it more. I was just using yeah, this was like back then. Oh yeah, and this. Listen to this. Listen to the foreshadowing.
Is to express that he's still a threat. So as a result, not as concretely as threatening as the Astral Zamasu within the actual anime, but nevertheless still a powerful being within itself. Thank you guys for
Listen to what I say about
allow
him.
them to go from one place to another. Even though Zamasu speaks, he doesn't need the time ring. But the point is, they can all threaten to destroy all of reality. And at this point of Dragon Ball, that's not really a big deal, considering even Kid Buu, who at Highball was only a galaxy buster, still was a threat to the entire
See, Highball Galaxy Buster, that's completely false.
universe. So we need to understand that these guys being multiversal, potentially, even in the manga, is not too hyperbole for the most part. Of course, it could take time, but the point is to express that he's still a threat. So as a result, not as concretely as threatening as the Astral Zamasu within the actual anime, but nevertheless still a powerful being within itself. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll do another video on explaining to you
Yep.
a little bit more about string theory in regards to dimensional tiering for other anime verses and why it doesn't apply. Yes, I'm looking at you, Kami Tenchi, quote unquote 22 universes, or excuse me, 22 dimensions. String mechanics and many others would just laugh at you because in reality that doesn't exist. But I'll talk a little bit more about that another time. Thank you guys for watching. Atari out.
Okay, so I was kind of calling out Kami Tenchi because I was skeptical about the whole 22 dimensions, which I was right to be skeptical of. Kami Tenchi doesn't scale to his 22 dimensions. Now, let's see here. All right, so that's pretty much that. I think it's going to be close to around that time to conclude. But to give an answer to the people here in the chats, Shiro. Shiro here and such. So in case anyone's skeptical in the chat, I can give an explanation. You don't have to agree with it. But again, I'm going to show you some merit around my argument, which is going to be based upon this. Is Zamasu six-dimensional? Absolutely. Without a doubt. Arguably seventh. Arguably seventh. This was at the time where I didn't have the evidence, but now I have the evidence that can back it up. Because now we work in a time where there's more evidence being presented, surprisingly, from 1995. And people don't know about that. Now, again, like they always say, if something goes against something you don't think it's true, you most likely should figure out why is that person saying it. Some people say it, but always hear out their argument. So I'll give my argument one more time, which I've presented in a previous video. Look at what the heck is this? Get out of here. Get out of my face. Let's go to Dragon Ball. I made an article about it already. I made an article just so it gives me quick access to scans. Alright, so let's talk about this. I've explained this to Andre, and I'm going to do it again for the rest. So the first scan, it says here, an infinite space of light and darkness where the unknown live. Okay? Right here. So if this is infinite space of light and darkness, alright, that means the universe is generally infinite. Okay? Giving implication of those infinities. Now, there's two more scans that people are going to bring up. Page 54, and I think this is page 20, which comes after the Frieza scan. The infinitely expanding universe is determined mainly by the direction of the king manages. Now, I'll explain that in a bit. Then the next one is the infinitely expanding galaxy illuminations of 10,000s of light years. The context is not whether or not. So to give you a basic explanation, this is not based on whether or not the universe is infinite or infinitely expanding. That's a false dilemma. If someone tells you, which one is it? Someone such as Kira would say things, well, it's either infinitely expanding or it's infinite. Which one? Why can't it be both? And you might be saying, well, Atari, how can it be both? It's simple. It's called context. Pay attention. I'll show you. Infinite space of light and darkness where the unknown live. This is the entire ensemble of the universe, okay? Primarily the living world, okay? This is the living world. The living world is infinite space. Now let's talk about the rest. The infinitely expanding universe. The infinitely expanding universe is determined mainly by the direction that each king manages, and the place managed by the king supervised by the king of worlds. So depending on the direction is where the kings or the Kaioshin manage is based on the aspect. King Kai doesn't have infinite range. They don't have infinite range in a particular cardinal direction because it still would be infinite. Okay? The life, also known as this is speaking of the observable universe, and I'm going to prove it. According to the scan here, where it has Guru, it says infinitely expanding galaxy illuminations 10,000s of light years, hundreds of millions of light years. Countless unknown aliens and monsters live beyond stars where light cannot reach. This is talking about the observable universe where the general boundaries of light stop. But the scan prior was already reading that it was infinite in size. The space is infinite. The life, where everyone exists, is finite. That's why that's expanding. Because life is expanding. Dragon Ball doesn't have infinite planets with infinite life forms on it, or infinite planets in general. It doesn't. The planets are being created one by one. The universe is creating itself one by one and expanding infinitely, just like in real life theory. Toriyama said the universe is based on the real world. It's that simple. So to give that explanation, oh boy. Come here. Get over here. Apparently, it's a fake universe in a new arc. I believe the scan, though, my guy. I just tell YouTuber auto deletes comments with links. Oh no, Maurice, this isn't for you. I'm just giving this in case anyone else watches the stream and is very skeptical. All right. Here's the Dragon Ball universe. Infinite darkness and light. Cool. Blah, blah, blah. This is the infinite universe, or whatever. This is the universe. Now, the place, this is the observable universe, okay? This is the observable universe. Alright? Alright? It's guided by 4 directions each Kaioshin manages. It's finite. It is finite. But, though finite, it is infinitely expanding, okay? It's infinitely expanding. That's what the term means when it says infinite expanding. It's referring to the observable, not the full out infinite space. Both scans are one scan talks about infinite space, and one scan talks about infinite space, and the other two talks about the authority one has in a general direction and the general universe being expanded upon its galaxies and light years and luminations. Anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way, that pretty much establishes the Dragon Ball universe. Everyone else should know by now. You have the room of spirit and time, a time dimension. You have the lower temporal world. The room is the afterlife has no time, and it is transcended. Okay, I'm not gonna go into ad nauseuming myself like for the umpteenth time, but again, the evidence is self-evident. It's an axiom at this point. It's self-evident upon its own statement. All right, that pretty much covered that. That covers my response to Seth. That covers the stream. That covers the higher dimensions. That covers the guy here. He probably said something else. I don't know what else he said. Real coordinates, blah, 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 blah. Get on my face. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I've already explained myself. It doesn't matter. Get on my face. Bye. Alright. We've already discussed versus battle wikis. We discussed this. Get my email. Get my other ways. Way back sucks. And does biotin work? You guys should subscribe to this channel because I want to grow a beard. Okay. Yep, dimensionally transcendental afterlife. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, well, it really, all it says is that the afterlife transcends the dimensions below it that are invisible to the human world. The dimensions that are invisible to the human world is the room of spirit and time, the demon world, Makai realm, and any other realm in between. That's all it's saying. It doesn't necessarily transcend dimensions in the outer versal aspect. It more so transcends the lower, it just more so transcends dimensions that are also in a different axis, etc. But anyway. Yeah. No, Broly tore up a south quadrant. Broly tore up 1/4 of the observable universe. He didn't tear up like an infinite 1/4 of infinityism like that. That doesn't make any sense. Because it's not like there's infinite galaxies. Well, actually, there's a scan that says there's galaxies going infinitely, but the translation doesn't really say that there are infinite galaxies. It more just says the galaxies exist throughout the infinite space of Dragon Ball. More, not that there are infinite galaxies, because then it would just fill up everything. It wouldn't really make sense. You can't have infinite galaxies in 3D space, because then it would just clog everything. Anyway, guys. Oh my goodness. Herms confirmed it. He translated it to dimensionally transcendental. Yeah. I mean, yeah, dimensionally transcend. Well, I don't know. I'd have to see Todd's scan itself because I had 2 people help translate it. So I don't know. I get because Herms might be looking at it from a different perspective then. Because from what I was able to tell, it transcends the lower dimensions, the dimensions that are invisible. But if that's what it could say by Herms, then it could be interpreted as a outer versal high end. I mean, you could, but outside of that, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to try to keep it a little more tame and just say it's 5D because it's non-temporal, doesn't have time. Goku confirmed that. It contains an infinite heaven, which heaven is the same size as the infinite 4D living world, because the living world's 4D because it has its own history and time through the pendulum room and the time chamber. So because of that, you know, I would just assert that it would be a 5D object that's infinitely bigger by its existence alone, transcendental-wise. But anyway, it depends. It really depends. No, I didn't see any spoilers, but I might be doing a live reaction. I do have a lot I gotta do for the next week over, and I'm gonna be relatively busy. My next videos may include Yu Yu Hakusho or Dragon Ball related content. I do want to probably talk a little bit about Baki. I don't know if a lot of people are into Baki the Grappler and Kenichi Shirahama, the Kenichi the Midas disciple. It's time we stop going into the whole multiverse. Yeah, I seen the scan. Villanova. I can speak Japanese. I can read Japanese and speak a little bit as well. And I was able to utilize a dictionary. So based upon the dictionary and understanding the subject, verb, and object in Japanese culture, I was able to I was able to break down the sentence structure, translate it, and I had it confirmed by a Japanese fluent speaker. And they said that my translation was very on point. They retranslated it themselves, and it came out pretty much verbatim of what I said. And she told me I did a good job. So, however Herms may have said it, it may depend on how Herms is reading it. Because if you read it bit by bit, sure, but yeah, you just.
I was about to say, like, bro, you ain't that tell me no Zero Complex Panther, man. I say, he ain't no Complex Panther, but
No, I'm playing. All right, guys. But all right. Belenanov, I do agree with you though. It is a possibility. I'm always open-minded, so don't worry. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that upon what I was able to translate, I know my translation wasn't inaccurate. Unless I'm talking to a Japanese fluent troll who's just trolling me. But I don't think they would do that. So, alrighty. Well, that's pretty much it. Let me see something, guys. When does the store close? Closes soon at 11. I mean at 10. That sucks. What if Yu Yu Hakusho existed in Dragon Ball? Oh no, his link got deleted. Yeah, links aren't allowed. I'm sorry. This is a Ganondorf chat. No links. No, I'm just playing. Higher dimension doesn't equal higher stats unless specifically proven. Thank you, Shush. I appreciate it because people don't get that. What if Yu Yu Hakusho existed in Dragon Ball? It would be very strange. It would be very strange and very scary. Because I don't know how things would behave. Sacred energy would be the same as God Ki. So I guess since we would have God Ki in that metric. What if Dragon Ball Heroes as a crossover RG Sonic? That would be amazing. Alright, guys. That should be it. We've had fun. Okay. Alright, guys. We've had fun. But it's time that I get ready to go. Nobody seemed like they wanted me to turn on Smash Brothers for a little bit. I would totally have done it just to play for 20 minutes or so and then leave. Alright, I can cross scale at one point. Yeah, Yusuke would become very strong. Yusuke acts like Goku. The more he fights, he just gets stronger. And the more stronger his opponent, the more he wants to fight. Alright, Zay. I'll play Smash, but I'll play for a little bit. Alright, let's see here. Alright, chat. We got one request to play Smash, so I'll go for it. Flex my nest skill? I don't know, bro. My nest is kind of gungoos. It's kind of booty. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Shut up, game. You're too loud. Dun 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 dun. Okay, we're gonna play Smash. Why? Because I guess Smash. Hooray. Oh, snap. Hold up. I have the wrong plug in the wrong place at the wrong time and the wrong chicken. Alright, so I'm probably gonna get bodied. Maybe? Smash Bros. Ultimate characters are probably very strong. Let's see here. Alright, so I can only play for like 20 plus minutes. Let's go to Quick Play Elite Smash. I don't know, man. Alright, so let's pick... Alright, I got a Falco, Ness, Marth, Snake. Actually, I hate Elite Smash. Elite Smash is trash. It's because everyone decides they want to be goofy. Yep, 1v1. Alright, let's find an arena. Let's find someone to destroy. Okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So many arenas are full of people. No, that person's probably going to be salty. They're probably going to lose, and they're going to be like, no, you can't come in my arena. Alright, you know what I'll do? Nope, no friends. None of that? Alright. Nah, Kirby bodies. Kirby does. Kirby does. Let me edit the title. There we go. Title edited. I don't know how consistent this is going to run though. All right, let's create an arena. Public. All right, let's do 2 people. 1v1. All right, let's do that. Hi. All right. So, I don't know. I could use Ness, but I feel like I could use Marth too. I'm gonna wait 60 seconds. If no one joins, we're doing Elite. Sheesh, that controller's loud. Actually, speaking of which, since we're listening to Xenoblade, has anyone here played Xenoblade? Hurry up and join the arena. Brawl was a great game. Wait, you need me to finish at 9? Okay, or 9:20. Okay, good. All right, guys, I got 10 minutes. This is taking too long.
Oh, you read it. Yay. Thank you.
All right, so I got 10 minutes. I got to run to like Stop and Shop. So,
To help wifey do some errands.
wait. Kroger? Kroger, Stop and Shop, whatever, same thing. Alright, so alright. Chat. Should I go Hero, Falco, Marth, Ness? I don't know. Alright, whatever, we'll go Ness. Sheesh, I haven't. I always get stage fright playing on stream. I feel like I have to win, or everyone's gonna make fun of me.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, Snake! Stupid. Thanks, bro. Yep. Woohoo! You dead! Woo! Boom. 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 Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that was close. No, I died! How dare you do this to me? Stop it. He's good. Thanks, brother. Now I'm at 0. Let me get that. One, two. What the hell was that? Okay, well, I guess that worked out, guys. Atari versus low tier god. Actually, Isaac, I fought low tier god. I've actually fought him before. I have screenshots. I fought low tier god before. He's basically saying, "Hi, Amena." He's basically saying, "This stupid Dennis the Menace character is so corny, bro. Tired of these corny characters, man." What wasn't how? You know what? Do you guys remember when they said, "Oh, Master Roshi is an outlier because he blew up the moon"? Oh, this is gonna be hard. Boom, boom. Ah! Man, this game sucks. At least you died, though. Yeah, burn on fire. Boom. Boom. That was boiled chicken wings. Yeah. Oh my god. Infinite Zamasu. Please die. Woo! Got him. Oh! Oh, that's banging. That's amazing. Yo, this Rob is God. Boom, boom, boom. Well. Yup. No! Why did it take him so long to grab the ledge? He took like 5 years. Alright, that's it. Fight me again. I have no idea when Goku will be in Smash. If Goku's in Smash, that'll be amazing. That was so stupid. Stupid, Rob. Now you're gonna get it. Give me that. Alright. Alright, guys. He got me. I suck. Nah, I'm just playing. Well, look at his name. Queefy. Yup. Yup. Wait, that reflects? I win. Wait, that reached below the ledge? Yeah. I like this Rob. He's aggressive. Woo! Man, I feel like Gone Freaks. Can't catch me. I'm gonna hit you. Come here. All right. Well, yeah, but Jump Force Goku. Rob, yeah, Rob. The reason he's called Rob is because he'll rob you of a game. Man, if Jump Force was like Smash, I don't know, man. That would be pretty awesome. Pick at fire, shut up. Don't say anything to me. Okay. So this is probably going to be the last one before we wrap up the stream, guys. I don't know if I'll win. I might lose. I might die. Oh, wait. What happened? I wasn't even looking at myself. What? I grabbed that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who said you can do all that? Oh, my hands are slipping. 1, 2. Man, this is intense. Oh, I didn't mean to get up attack. No, he reached me! Okie doke, guys. Well, GG. Atari got bodied. But yeah. Overall, good games. Well, that's going to be the stream for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Appreciate it. And I hope everyone else has a wonderful day. This is Atari HMB, and I'm signing off.